The room is quiet. The fluorescent lights hum with a low electric fatigue. You are sitting across from a desk that feels slightly too wide. You have just referenced a conversation from 3 weeks ago. A directive, clear, specific, about the project timeline. You remember the Tuesday morning. You remember the coffee cup on the table. You remember the exact words that approved the change. The person across from you does not blink. They look at you with polite confusion. They say, "I never said that. It is not a question. It is not an invitation to debate. It is a correction of reality." And in the silence that follows, the room seems to tilt. This moment is one of the most disorienting rituals of modern professional life. It is not a misunderstanding. It is a collision of two realities. One reality is based on what was said. The other is based on what is now required. When those realities collide, the one held by the person with authority usually survives. The disorientation you feel is not accidental. It is structural. In systems built on hierarchy, the past is often flexible. It is quietly rewritten to serve the present. The confusion you feel is simply the friction of that rewriting process. To understand why this happens, it helps to look away from the idea of malice and toward the machinery of the office. There are three mechanisms at work. The first is selective preservation. In high-pressure environments, leaders are evaluated by today's outcomes, not yesterday's promises. A statement made last month, when resources were available or expectations were lower, can become a liability today. When a manager denies a past directive, they are often not lying in the traditional sense. They are removing a record that no longer fits the current conditions. The statement disappears because it threatens their standing upward, not because it was never spoken. The second mechanism is memory reconstruction through authority. Psychology shows that memory is not a recording. It is a reconstruction. For people in power, that reconstruction is shaped by self-image. Competent, consistent, in control. If acknowledging a past statement would reveal a mistake or contradiction, the mind often rejects the memory itself. Not consciously, automatically. They are not lying. They are editing. In busy organizations, conversations blur together. Meetings overlap. Emails summarize what was never written. Over time, the brain stops storing exact language and retains only the gist. And the gist that survives is the one that feels safest to the role. Details that create exposure fade. Details that protect authority sharpen. What remains is not a falsehood, but a curated memory that supports the character being played today. The third mechanism is the maintenance of hierarchy. Agreement is a contract. If a manager admits they were wrong about a past directive, that contract briefly breaks. The subordinate becomes the keeper of the truth. In many organizations, this inversion is intolerable. The denial acts as a reset. It restores the default setting where authority defines reality and others adapt to it. It is a quiet declaration. My version of events is the official record. Once that happens, accuracy becomes negotiable, but authority does not. What is being protected is not the timeline, it is the structure. This is why the experience feels so deeply unsettling. It is not just about a deadline or a decision. It is an attack on shared reality. Workplaces function on the assumption that everyone is watching the same movie. When that assumption breaks, your footing disappears, you check your notes, you replay the conversation, you wonder if you imagined it. This is where professional self-doubt takes root. You begin to over-document. You send follow-up emails confirming what was just said aloud. You treat casual conversations like evidence for a future dispute that will never happen. You are responding to instability by trying to build a fortress of paper. But this reaction misunderstands the nature of the stage. The workplace is not a courtroom designed to discover facts. It is a theater designed to produce outcomes. When the denial happens, it is rarely personal. It is the sound of the system protecting itself. The manager is not attacking you. They are defending a narrative. They are patching a hole in the story. Recognizing this does not restore the promise. It does not fix the timeline, but it changes the silence in the room. You realize you are not losing your grip on reality. You are simply the only one still reading from the old script. The scene has moved on. And in the corporate theater, the only lines that matter are the ones being spoken right now.